I did actually have a teaser, but that's at 10 at 10. I'm Griffin Hughes. The snow fell thin over Lawrence last night, but it fell thick over West Kansas, where Jackson is stuck right now. But the show must go on, so I get my first chance to do a little hosting. Coming up, we've got both sides of KU hoops, track, baseball, and softball. We're all in action this weekend, as well as the most exciting weekend in the NBA. All that and more coming up on 10 at 10 right now. Let's head to KU men's hoops. Bill Self's squad is closing in on another Big 12 title, and they spent their Valentine's Day in the best place on earth to watch a college basketball game. Jayhawks fell in love with the team's win, while freshman Kelly Oubre fell in love with the three ball. The talented youngster from Henderson, Nevada, dropped a game-high 18 in Kansas's 10-point win over Baylor, which hoisted the Jayhawks to a 2-game lead over all the competition in their pursuit of an 11th straight Big 12 title. What a pass from Wayne Selden. Are you kidding me? That young man is really, really something special for the Kansas Jayhawks. And you know what? He wasn't even done yet. We saw you the passing. Now let's show you the shooting. Wayne Selden with a hand in his face and everything. Boy, that was pretty. We'll show you that again. I'll never get tired of watching that guy play. And then you know what? He wasn't done yet. Shooting, passing. How about strength? Hoisting the ball all the way across court to Kelly Oubre. That was his second three. He had 4 in his 18. Lead starting to close down a little bit here. Baylor got off to a massive start, but Kansas was able to close down the lead going into the second half. And then Wayne Selden again showing the hops. That boy elevated. He better be careful. Budweiser's going to start making commercials about him in the future. Man, that boy can jump. And Cliff Alexander back to Wayne Selden. And Selden took it upon himself at the beginning of the second half to get everything rolling. Kansas went into halftime with a 6-point deficit. Wayne Selden ends up cutting it to 1 there. And then watch out, Frank Mason. Oh my goodness. That boy put on his PF Flyers for that one. Tebio Teba, he better watch out. Frank Mason looks like he can join the track team tomorrow with that fantastic sprint. Jayhawks finally starting to open up a lead. And then who else but Wayne Selden can get things started to Kelly Oubre. Bang. 3-ball, and that was it. That 3-ball took a 3-point lead, an 8-point lead, excuse me. Kansas would never get below that as they go on to win by 10. They finish off the season sweep. I loved that. I love watching those highlights. The season sweep of Baylor is over. And so in the Fieldhouse now, Kansas moves on to take on West Virginia actually tonight, facing that devastating press. And the KU women also in action. We've got Anthony Capper, who called the game for KJHK, coming up later. And he's going to break down all things KU women. They've hit a tough stretch. Can they make the playoffs? I don't know. Or the playoffs, wow. The tournament. With 3 straight losses, including the one last night to Texas in the Fieldhouse, it's going to be a tall order. But Bonnie Henriksen, she's done it before. So we'll see if the women can actually pull it off. If anyone can, it's Lauren Aldridge. As I said, Anthony Capro called the game on KJHK. We'll have him on later to break down the Lady Jayhawks' chances at postseason play. Let's move on to KU track. We'll head down to they head down to Fayetteville for the triple tray. Is it redundant? Absolutely, but it sounds cool, so we'll go with it. Michael Stigler and the KU 4x400 relay team ran one of the fastest times in school history at the Tyson Invitational on Saturday, and the 3:10.42 was enough to beat Kansas State by 3/4 of a second. However, even the 6th best time in school history wasn't enough to crack even the top 10 in the competition, which featured 12 of the top 20 times in the country this year. High jumper Colleen O'Brien rounded out a high-flying weekend in the pit tying a career high jump of 5.9 3/4. 3 Kansas high jumpers are now ranked in the top 7 in the Big 12. Baseball in action as well. Coach Rich Price described LSU's Alex Box Stadium as the Allen Fieldhouse of college baseball, and that would of course mean that it's nearly impossible to win there. Well, we head to our Fantastic Four, and the 11,000 screaming Tiger fans were anything but fantastic for the Kansas Jayhawks. They got swept by the second-ranked Tigers in their first series of the season. All the games were 3-run affairs, and the team finished Sunday with a 7-4 loss. Despite 4 errors by the young Tiger defense, a 4-run sixth helped reliever Hunter Duvall to his first win of the season. He and 5 other LSU pitchers combined to hold the Jayhawks to just 3 hits in that game, the fewest of the series. Bryce's team will head to Arizona on Thursday to take on a set of Pac-12 teams in the 4-day Big 12 Pac-12 Challenge. The Jayhawks will start with the Washington Huskies on the 19th. It's actually been a much better start for softball as we take a look at their run in the Fantastic Five. Fantastic is exactly what the Jayhawks have been so far this season, cruising to a 10-0 start in the first 2 weeks of the season. This past weekend they traveled to Las Cruces, New Mexico, where their bats came alive. They scored 50 runs in 5 games, including 25 against New Mexico State on Saturday. That is not a joke. We had the voice of KU softball, Sam Davis, on last week, and he said the power game is strong with this team. Well, he wasn't lying. This Jayhawk team has crushed 10 long balls in their first 10 games, and they'll look to crush some more when they travel to Gainesville on Friday to play in the Aquafina Invitational. That tournament will include 2 games against defending national champions Florida, who are out to put an end to the Jayhawks' hot start. For our Simple Six, we've got a simple tweet from the always entertaining Stephen A. Smith, who fired back at his partner Skip Bayless for criticizing Russell Westbrook for the amount of shots he took in the NBA All-Star Game. To hell with real Skip Bayless. It was a sensational performance by Russell Westbrook. He had the hot hand in an exhibition. Stop hating. You know what? I love Russell Westbrook. UCLA guy. I'm a UCLA fan. Honestly, the banter between these guys is some of the most entertaining stuff on the air. And when they're on Twitter, they like to go at it. You can check out 10 at 10 The Bottom Line on kjhk.org tonight for our guys' analysis of Westbrook's MVP performance. What's the funnest part of the weekend? 3-point slam dunk contest. In the words of soccer commentator Andy Gray, R7 is stupendous, and so were Steph Curry and Zach LaVine this weekend. I grew up watching UCLA basketball, so Zach LaVine will always hold a special place in my heart, but this dunk contest was something truly special for him. Steph Curry also proved why he's one of the top 2 guards in the NBA. Patrick Beverley came away with a win in the skills competition and a last-second 3-point shot, and that's the guy who was the last-second addition to the skills challenge, replacing Wizards guard John Wall. Let's take a look at the 3-point contest. Both Steph Curry and Klay Thompson made the final round with strong money ball rounds, and Steph Curry just took over in the finals. Can this kid even miss a shot? We actually don't have highlights there, but he made just 9 in a row before his last one. I don't see anyone beating a 27 anytime soon. Let's actually take a look at what you all want to see. It's the rookie phenom Zach LaVine in the dunk contest. He said Space Jam was his first experience with dunking. He came out with the Jordan jersey, and he showed us why. Is this through the legs even possible? But the young fellow wasn't even done yet. What's better than between the legs? Behind the back. KU grad Kevin Harlan and his crew said it all with this reaction. How about when he uses another KU guy, Andrew Wiggins? Yes, sir. And a fellow UCLA Bruin and Shabazz Muhammad? Yep, he'll take that too. James Harden was in shock, but the best reaction you didn't see? Dr. J, the inventor of the dunk contest, was absolutely stunned by LaVine's first go-around. And you know his performance is putting a smile on Coach Steve Alford's face somewhere. Let's head to the NBA All-Star action now. An excellent group of guys took the floor in our Excellent 8. And we'll break down the NBA All-Star Game for you because we can, and we love highlights on this show. Gotta love Carmelo, gotta love James Harden, and Steph Curry, your 3-point champion. So let's get right to the action, shall we? They played in MSG. Coach Bill Clinton loves it. With Carmelo playing through a knee issue, it was unclear how much of a factor he'd really be. But again, we'll go straight at it. And he sets up his friend LeBron James for a monster jam. Dunk contest maybe for him? Of course, no defense really played in this game, except for here, as Pau Gasol says to the third row, "You'll take this ball and like it." Dikembe Mutombo loves it. He always has fun with his swats. We'll go right back to the no defense thing, where John Wall hits LeBron for a beautiful give-and-go alley-oop. But the highlight of the night comes right here from three-point champion Steph Curry with a behind-the-back dish to James Harden. And how about the big man? Look at that. I doubt you'd ever see that in a game. But you know what? It's All-Star Weekend, so why not let Mark Gasol have a free pass to the rim? By the way, if you thought Steph Curry was done, you would be wrong. The young man always finds a way to amaze. And who else but the Rockets' James Harden could once again be on the receiving end? Wow. And if you like alley-oops, how about a little three-quarters court reverse? Russell Westbrook had a record-breaking first half, and he'll cap it all off with an emphatic dunk to give the East an 11-point lead. Yes, that did go in before the buzzer, but they had to give this a semblance of being a real game, so they reviewed it anyway. We'll take some more Russell Westbrook, and he knocks down the tray. Man, whatever he's having, I want some of that. Chris Paul comes up with a steal, and he throws it up to the hyper-athletic guard, who puts it straight back down. Bang. What is it with UCLA and producing the most athletic players in the NBA? Westbrook loves it, though he would come up just short of breaking Wilt Chamberlain's All-Star game record. Then how about a little Kyle Korver to get the East back in the game, which at one point seemed to look like dunk contest number 2. Then some Carmelo Anthony on the side, not a very efficient night for him, but I'm sure he doesn't mind. It was a 13-point game at that point. You know, Steph Curry does a little bit of everything, and here he'll assist the big man, Dirk Nowitzki, playing in his 13th All-Star game. I bet Mark Cuban got pretty nervous seeing his aging star rise up like that, but Dirk loves it, the bench loves it, and I love it, so we're good. Meanwhile, Kyle Lowry says, "Please don't forget about me," and he makes sure no one does. He throws that down with authority. For those of you who get the South Park reference, thank you. But you can't forget about Pau Gasol either, who puts away the umpteenth alley-oop of the night here. The West would go on to win 163-158. Russell Westbrook was your MVP with 41 points in the highest scoring All-Star game ever. We've got a little terrific 10 FaceTime coming up. But before we get that, we've got a nice 9 names to keep an eye out for in the second half of the NBA season. For our first, you got to watch out for All-Star MVP Russell Westbrook, who will still have to step up if he wants to get the Thunder back to the playoffs despite a slow start. You know Kevin Durant will get his, but if Westbrook can put up the numbers he put up in the All-Star game, the Thunder will have success. At number 2, we've got a guy who's flown under the radar. It's Hassan Whiteside, the young star from the Miami Heat. You remember him, he had a double-double with points and blocks. If they want to enjoy any degree of success in the East, he'll have to hold his own against the best players. I'm going to cheat a little and use all 5 starters on the Atlanta Hawks. Al Horford, Kyle Korver, Jeff Teague, DeMar Carroll, and Paul Millsap won the Eastern Conference Player or Players of the Month for January, and the Hawks could really make a deep playoff run if those guys continue to step up big time. If my math is correct, I believe we only have 2 names left. DeAndre Jordan is a guy that you can count on to put on a show in the second half of the season. With Blake Griffin out for the next month or so and the West seemingly getting stronger in the low post every day, the highlight reel on 2 feet will have to become an all-around stud if the Clippers want to stay in the playoff race. Finally, you need to watch out for one of my hometown boys, Kenneth Faried. The big man gets no love nationally, as the Nuggets aren't exactly the cream of the crop in the NBA, but if you can, you gotta check this guy out. He's a tenacious defender and an absolutely ferocious dunker. He gives 1,000% effort every time he gets out on the floor, and when that combines with the incredible competition he faces in the West, it's really something to watch. I'll tell you what, 10 at 10 is almost a wrap, but we've got our terrific 10 to close it all up, and it's all about FaceTime for this one. Jackson usually likes to toss it to me for, a little bit of a one-on-one with me and the camera. What's been in the news lately has been baseball, and whether or not Pete Rose can be in the Hall of Fame, with the sports betting and commissioners talking about, hey, is sports betting legal? My personal take on the matter, if you're going to deny Pete Rose the Hall of Fame for not affecting games at all, then anyone who's ever had any connection with steroids has no place in the Hall of Fame. They have no place in baseball, really. I don't think Pete Rose should be denied the Hall of Fame. He didn't affect the game. He wasn't betting on games that he was in. So, it wasn't like he was throwing games or anything like that. So, I don't think you should deny him the Hall of Fame. He's one of the greatest hitters, if not the greatest hitter of all time. He's got the record for the most hits in a career. So, if you're going to deny him the Hall of Fame, then why is it even a question that guys that have been connected with steroids should even be in it? Those guys affected the game. We don't know how many home runs Mark McGwire would have hit. We don't know how many home runs A-Rod would have hit if they weren't on steroids. So those guys should be nowhere near the Hall of Fame. And for my money, Barry Bonds' record should have a giant asterisk near it. In fact, you should probably just white it out of the entire record book. He's got no place to be in the record book because of his heavy connection with steroids. I think Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame. I don't think anyone who's ever been connected with steroids belongs anywhere near it. I don't think they should be in the state of New York because, what they did, they tainted the game and they tainted everybody else who was on the field with those guys at the same time. And those guys played with some pretty good players in the courses of their careers. So, say what you will about the baseball writers and what they'll say about the Hall of Fame and who deserves to be in it and who doesn't. Baseball purists will say Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. But no matter what side you take, I don't think there's any way to argue with the fact that guys on steroids should not be in the Hall of Fame and they should never be in the Hall of Fame. Coming up next, hopefully we've got an interview with Anthony Capra on women's basketball. If he doesn't make it, we'll toss it straight to news for your KU, or your Good Morning KU news update. This has been 10 at 10. I'm Griffin Hughes. Be right back.
Where you go to college makes a statement about you. This place will become a part of you, your identity for life. The University of Kansas, a great place to be you.
Back. My name is Anna Perano.
And I'm Elizabeth Romy, and this is your Monday Morning KU News Update. Egypt has begun launching airstrikes against ISIS groups in Libya. According to the USA Today, Egyptian state radio announced the strikes in retaliation for a video that shows the mass beheading of Egyptian Christian hostages.
In Liberia, schools are set to reopen after shutting down because of the deadly Ebola virus. More than 3,800 people in West Africa have died from the Ebola outbreak. One school's principal says the school has been disinfected, but that he wants to replace all the furniture because the school had been used as a makeshift hospital for screening possible Ebola patients.
Today is just the first day of the cold stretch we're going to have this week. Wednesday is supposed to be the coldest day of the week with temperatures below zero before the wind chill factors. Thursday will also be cold, but we can expect temperatures to rise into the 40s on Friday. There is, however, another chance for snow next weekend.
Just a reminder that today is President's Day, and while classes are in session at KU, many local school districts are closed for the day. Banks, city offices, and the U.S. Postal Service are also closed for the holiday.
Hundreds of demonstrators met in Topeka on Saturday morning to protest Governor Sam Brownback's executive order, which revoked workplace protection for state employees on the basis of sexual orientation. Former Governor Kathleen Sebelius put the protections in place in August of 2007. At the Valentine's Day rally, various speakers spoke to the crowd on the south lawn of the Kansas State House.
Finally, if mainstream sports isn't your thing, here's a lighter story for you. The 139th Westminster Dog Show begins today in New York City. For the first time, the Treeing Walker Coonhound and the Russell Terrier breeds will be joining the two-day competition this year. The competition can be seen on the USA Network.
Well, that will wrap it up for the news update. Don't forget that we have an away basketball game tonight against West Virginia, so there will be a watch party here in the Union. That starts at 7:30. You can expect free Coke products, free popcorn. It's a great time. And then tomorrow's Tasty Tuesday, we have strawberry yogurt parfait samples from the market. So come on by the social media outpost on the 4th floor of the Union if free food is something that you're into. We're going to take a break, and then Tom and Sam will be here with the weather.
I'm Sam Ola. We have Tom, who's on top of the KU Union with our weather. Tom, how you doing up there?
Pretty good, Sam. How are you?
Good. How's the weather up there?
Oh, it's pretty chilly out here today. It's about a high of 15 degrees, and as you can see in the background, there's snow. And down at Memorial Stadium, they're clearing snow off the field, so it's pretty chilly out here.
I heard you have a special guest with you up there. What does she say about the weather?
I do. I'm going to ask Siri how our weekly forecast is going to be. Siri, what's the weather like?
It's not looking good through February 25th, 2015. Down to 7 degrees Fahrenheit and snowing.
Yeah, Siri definitely knows best, I think. I think she knows more than you. No offense, Tom. What does the rest of the week look like, Tom?
Yeah, Siri says it's not looking good, and it is not indeed. There's about a high of 30 degrees the rest of the week, and Friday it could get up to about 41, so it's pretty chilly out here, and I hope all you Jayhawks stay pretty warm this week.
The football stadium looks pretty clear. I'm guessing they got all the snow off the field, but what does the rest of the week look like for you, Tom?
Yeah, it does look very, very chilly for the rest of the week. There's a high of 41 and some sunshine on Friday, so you can look forward to that. And as for the rest of the week, just stay warm, Jayhawks.
All right, thanks, Tom. And that's going to wrap it up here. Thanks for watching.